What's going on, YouTube? Got another episode of Just Drive Cars and Life. Ooh, yeah. Sparkling water, my favorite.
I love bougie tonight.
I'm your host, Naveed. To my right, we got Cameron.
To my gripe?
No, I said right.
Well, to my gripe, I'm on your right.
Sure, okay, whatever.
What's up?
We got Cameron, and we got our new host here, Keith.
What's
How you doing,
up?
Keith?
What's up?
Thanks for joining the show.
Yes,
Oh,
thanks
man.
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome.
When I said I want to check it out, I didn't necessarily expect to be on the show, but
Well, now you are.
You
Well,
spoke
that's
to
right.
us.
Sounds good.
Spoke too soon. No.
Spoke way too soon.
So another BMW guy in our family, right? He's got the exact same car as you.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just a different color.
that's right. Well,
And he's got a man stick.
yeah, and it's a manual.
He drives a real manual, basically, out of the three of us.
It's okay.
So, tell us about your Yas Marina Blue M4.
One of one.
Well, I mean, everybody uses that term now, right?
Every Yas Marina's
Like,
one of
you can add
Every Yas
anything to-
Marina's one of one. Oh my gosh.
It's true. True
Yeah,
story.
Well, you could add anything to your car and be like, oh, it's one of one, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I put the sticker on it. Nobody else has a sticker. One of
Mhm.
one. But
Yeah, like tell us the story. Like, where did you find it? Why did you buy it? Why did you want a manual?
well,
Give us a whole story.
originally I had just graduated college and I'd been in an accident in a Toyota Tacoma that I had. So I broke my foot. It was the lady's fault, so I got some money from that. So I was kind of just waiting to buy a car,
Mhm.
and I waited to find a job. And once I got a job out here, then I kind of started looking at cars. And actually, originally, I had looked at cars before I moved out here with my dad, just kind of to check out what was back in New Mexico.
Mhm.
And whenever I went, we went and looked at like a Scion GT86, the TRD edition, like different things. Because I had a Celica originally. It was like one of my like.
I remember you talking
I
about
had
your
it with
good
like 14.
Celica.
I think I got it with like 14,000 miles, and
Uh-huh.
whenever it was done, it had like 210,000 or something. So I drove like the shit out of that, and that was a manual. That was the first manual that I had.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why like I went to Toyota to kind of see what they had. And it's funny, whenever I test drove it, dude, it was like the longest gearing ever where you don't go anywhere. You're just like, what? Like, oh God, I've gone like 7 miles an hour faster. And you're just like waiting and waiting. And then you shift and you're like, you've gone through like 3 or 4 gears finally and taken like all this distance and you're going like 85 miles an hour.
Basically, yeah.
So
I know
like,
that
I was like
feeling.
super disappointed. It sounded good. It was fun to drive. Like it was kind
Right.
of a cool car, but like it was just super slow. And then like I looked at even like a Honda Civic, just SI, just because they're like super reasonably priced.
Right.
They have like good technology on them. I was like, okay, well I could basically get this car and have like no car payment, not have to like worry
Right.
about anything. And then I ended up, we went to like in Albuquerque, the Porsche and Audi dealerships are together. So we went to go look at some Audis and Porsches just to kind of see. And there actually was a Cayman S
Mhm.
there. And so, yeah, and it had a PDK transmission.
Okay.
So it was pretty cool. It had like the stripe down the middle that said Porsche. It was all black, but then it was like cut out with Porsche and stuff. So,
Nice.
I mean, it's not like top line Porsche or anything, but it was kind of fun. So I was like, okay, well, they let me test drive it. We took it out, and it was pretty quick, but like it just sounded pretty good. It was fun. He had me go around a roundabout like several times. He's like, just take it like basically as fast as you can around, and it really gripped well. Like it really felt like a driver's car, right? So I
Right.
really like that.
It's a
And
Porsche.
then yeah, I mean it's a Porsche, right?
Basically.
So, then we ended up. Well, let's just go to BMW and see what BMW has. And we had kind of looked at Mercedes too. I was always a big C63 AMG fan. So I always like kind of looked at those, but the pricing was just like not right on them. They were pretty expensive. So whenever I looked at the M, I found it over there. We kind of looked at it. I test drove it. And the guy, whenever I test drove it, he let me just like take it. It was probably like a 10 or 15 mile test drive. Like it was a pretty long test drive. He didn't really like care. It turns out he ended up like getting fired.
For that?
No, he had worked at a Lexus dealership up in Santa Fe before, and then he like came down to Albuquerque, and he had taken somebody's down payment for their car and just like pocketed it. And then like left the dealership.
Ouch.
And so he ended up getting arrested and then he got fired. So maybe that's why he ended up, because he just like maybe just didn't care. That's why he let me take it on a super long test drive. I didn't even put it in Sport Plus. Like I had no real idea about BMWs at this point. My first car was BMW, but it was an old BMW. So, and I've always been into like supercars and stuff. So I knew way more about like Lambos and Ferraris than I did about just like an M4. And so I didn't even know about the Sport Plus or anything like that. And whenever I just remember getting on it and like it actually put me in the seat compared to the Porsche was like real smooth. The M4, I was like, whoa, actually like
The G-force
it feels good,
yeah.
like, and that's what like really attracted me initially.
Right.
And then once I did that, I came out here. I moved out here. I didn't purchase it, and I kind of just watched prices. I looked at a bunch of different cars, and I actually was going to buy the Porsche.
Right.
And whenever I called them about the Porsche, they were like, because it was so reasonably priced, I'm like, there's no way they're selling it for this much.
Right.
So I finally called them. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that, because I knew if I didn't like it, I could just sell it and make like almost 10K
money.
profit.
Yeah.
And whenever I called them, they were like, "Oh, sorry, we mispriced it. It's actually $7,000 more than what we priced it at." So that was about market value. And I was like, "Well, you know, I'm not gonna pay like $7,000 more whenever the M4 is already $4,000 cheaper than it was. Now it's like $11,000 or $12,000 cheaper.
Okay.
It's faster, just like a great price. So I ended up getting it for like it sat on the lot for 2 to 3 months because nobody wanted a manual. Because in Albuquerque, anybody who can afford it is usually older. So they want autos or DCTs.
Okay.
And so, so I ended up getting it for a great price. And that's what kind of ended up, I flew back, got it. My parents drove it out here for me. But that's what like got me into that and into like BMWs. And yeah, I don't know. I've been really happy with it ever since. So
basically,
you
did a lot of shit to it too.
I've done a few things. There's more that I need to do though. I try to take it kind of easy right now because I need to fix
out of all the M4s in Dallas, I think you're the fastest one out of all the M4s.
Let's see about that.
I want to talk about Ricky's. I know he's got 1,000 horsepower.
But there are a couple that are. God, why did I just lose his name? Amir's is
with 1,000 horsepower.
About to be 1,000.
Yeah.
And there were a couple like the setup that I have on mine came off of another dude's that was pushing 700 wheel.
Nice.
And so
that's what you're pushing right now.
No, that's what we're going to be shooting for. So I still have to get the crank hub and we still have to install the crank hub. That's right. The only reason the upgraded turbos are on already is because the guy that we got them from, we basically traded him my stock ones for his upgraded ones, and then money on top of that.
I see. Okay.
And so he needed them to, because his car had been in an accident or whatever, he needed them to go get his car done. So that's why they changed it out, but I haven't done the crank hub yet. So I haven't done anything with the tune or anything. It's still just stage 2. Gotcha. It just sounds like I can actually hear the turbos now. It's a little bit more efficient. Like you can feel the pull. You can feel the different pull like more on the top end. And
you got the titanium exhaust on yours by Sheepy Race.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's, I mean, I love it. Like it's awesome. If it was a track car, it'd probably be perfect for like a track car.
Right.
The problem is that I put several, because I live so far, I end up putting 200 miles on it in a day or 300 miles. And so it's several thousand pretty quickly. Yeah. And that titanium just wears down pretty quickly because it's super thin gauge.
And how long did it take you to come up and figure it out that, okay, I can't do this anymore? Because I remember every 3 or 4 months you had to keep on getting it re-welded, or was it sooner?
It depended on how much I drove it, right? Right. So that's why I'm saying like if it was like on a track car, it's super lightweight. If you're doing like 50 laps, you're doing I don't know, maybe I don't know anybody doing necessarily a 100-mile race in like a day in an M4, maybe a 50-mile race or something like that. And so whenever you do that, it's not going to wear down like whenever I'm driving it daily. And it just got to the point where there's a crack on the backside that's just kind of getting to be where it's a pain in the ass to weld. You know what I mean? And there's some fixes or some pieces that we can put in. But right now, because I got laid off due to COVID, I'm unemployed. So I don't have like a bunch of money to just be like, oh, okay, I'll just like throw money on it and just fix it really easily. Gotcha. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm selling it. And, I'm asking like $4K for it, which like people on the forums got on me because they're like, oh, well, it was just on here for like, some guy said 1,500. It wasn't 1,500 because I definitely didn't get it for 1,500. But I got it for a great price, and it's because nobody else wanted it because there were no sound clips of it. And there were like literally 2 or 3 pages of people being like, awesome exhaust, but there are no sound clips. I can't like buy that. And so I'm the one that took a risk after being up for several months and bought it. And now people are pissed that
Yeah.
I'm selling it for like basically because
Yeah.
it was $8,800.
That's their problem.
Well, it was $8,800 to get from Sheepy, okay?
But that's
and
their
so I'm
problem.
not selling it for like
Is
$7K or $6K.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's the price of the titanium is what I'm selling it for,
We've-
and I'll even negotiate. I'm reasonable on that price. Like I'm not.
We've always had these arguments about, hey, if you find something at a good price, like that's good on your part. If everybody else is bitching about it because they couldn't find it at the right place at the right time, or they didn't have the money for it, like that's their problem.
And then
Yeah.
you're selling it for still a good deal, but you're making
Yeah.
some money back. Like that's
I mean,
whatever.
that's their
right?
problem.
Yeah.
Well, if you want a Sheepy race exhaust that's titanium,
Yeah.
And it's
gonna
one
co-
of, and it's the
gonna-
only one.
It's the only one. Like whenever I called Sheepy race, and somebody like on the forum was like, "Oh, how do you know?" I actually called Sheepy before I ever bought it
Right.
and asked him about it because I was like suspicious. I'm like, a Sheepy race exhaust for an M4, like
Right.
that sounds weird.
Basically.
So whenever I called them, they were like, "Yeah, they made it for a dude up in Canada.
Uh-huh.
It's the only one they've ever made for an M3 or M4."
Right.
And it was like $8,800 new because they asked me how much the guy was selling it for on mine, and I told them I was like, he wants $2,500, and they were like, dude, the titanium's worth way more than just the $2,500.
Of
like,
course
there's
it is.
they're like, are you serious? So that's basically like what the dude said on the phone, and I was like, yeah.
Right.
He's like, dude, that's a great deal. And so then I was like, I'm just gonna buy it and bite the bullet, and if it sounds like shit, at least I have a
No.
full titanium exhaust for somebody. And
I remember picking it up. It was so
Dude.
fucking light. I was like, that is so. And the fact that it was all blue,
yeah,
I was like, oh my
All the
gosh.
I haven't seen the bottom of his car. So
When we were at the Dallas Market Hall for the first Spocom show,
Yeah.
me, him, and Davin were Explicit M3. The three of us lined it up, and I told him to go get a mirror so that when people come to the car show, they can look underneath his car, and like it was like the perfect setup.
yeah.
And your burbles are just
And I haven't turned.
so.
That's another
crazy,
thing I have
dude.
turned down
oh
too.
my
So,
gosh.
but I have. So what I'm going to go with is an AWE track exhaust,
Mhm.
non-resonated, and then I have VRSF downpipes that are heat coated,
Mm-hmm.
and
there you go. I got
so
those.
yeah. But dude, that's the one thing you're talking about lightness. I got that box for VRSF, and I'm like, dang, and I pulled them out, and I'm like, these are heavy. Like literally, we weighed my downpipes, and I think they were like 3.5 pounds for both of them total.
Mhm.
Like was the total weight of the whole exhaust downpipes
Okay.
back was, I think it was 6.8 pounds
Okay.
or something was the whole exhaust
Oh,
weight,
jeez.
which is like ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Like those downpipes that I just got from VRSF are,
Mhm.
I think they're 11 or 12 pounds for both.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally a quarter of the weight.
Jesus.
Then,
Yeah.
but I mean, now, if I throw those VRSF and the AWE track, I
Mhm.
can, whenever I get it tuned and stuff, I can throw like a little flame tune on there and not have to worry about blowing up my exhaust or anything either.
I think that's
Um,
it's becoming a norm with all these guys that are buying their F80 M3s, that they just
Well,
want to shoot flames,
I
shoot
don't wanna
flames, shoot
I don't
flames.
necessarily want to just shoot flames, but I want like flames, like if I'm on it and like I'm racing, you know what I mean? Like in high RPM, I want it to have a little bit, I don't know, like
like
twin-
a little
twin-
bit
like-
of boost.
like
you
twin
know?
turbo Lambos and stuff. I mean, I can't afford
Little
that
bit
crap,
of
right?
pizzazz.
So
Right.
like,
That's
I just,
fair.
I'm just a poser, just
No,
trying
I feel you.
to, but,
If you can keep up, are you a poser?
well, see, that's the thing. If I have what I want on it, I should be easily faster than a Huracan.
In my opinion, it ain't
So-
bragging if you can do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'd have to see. We need a Huracan to race whenever I get
We can
tuned.
arrange that.
And then
We can
and I'm you have to take into account I'm a little bit slower than like a DCT too. So like people are like, oh well, I raced
Yeah, because
this,
you have to shift.
yeah,
Yeah.
I raced a 700 horsepower M4 and I lost to it. Well, mine's manual, so you might have a little bit better chance. Because if you if you've ever been in my car on shifts, I mean, you can just tell. It's just like every time I shift, you can just see that
Yeah.
car just for a quarter second lowers a little bit more.
Basically.
So
It
just
just mine slams every
just
gear.
slams, yeah. I mean, but it's like super fun too. I don't know. I love having
There's something about
manual. Like,
manuals
it's
that you're
just-
always going to have fun.
I'm just like so engaged while I'm driving. Like
yeah,
even
you have
on the
control of the
freeway.
car.
Oh yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have control of the car if you have a DCT like this guy.
Yeah,
That's why I have to keep it in manual mode so I can focus.
Basically.
I can't focus
Yeah.
if I'm not
Basically.
doing this.
yeah.
All right, tell me why the Murcielago is your dream car.
The Murcielago. I don't know. I was just actually talking about the Murcielago being my dream car earlier because I went to Cars and Cantina
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have any gated manuals. So like I probably wouldn't get one if it wasn't a gated manual. Like,
Right.
but
Manual swap
I
it.
think just I think just in high school it was like the most opposing like car. The vents would open up. It's just
Mhm.
super wide.
Mm-hmm.
Lamborghinis are they're not like the best track cars. They're just like a spectacle. Like they've always just been like, if you're in a Lamborghini, it's like, look, I'm in a Lamborghini.
What color?
Like like matte black, like blacked out, like totally. Like,
Really?
yeah, wheels black and everything, and
I thought the
yeah.
lime green Murcielago
Oh, yeah.
looks super badass.
Oh, I think they all look like really good. I mean, I definitely.
That's not you though,
It's
right?
just-
That's
I
totally
would
not
never
you.
buy a green Lamborghini.
Period?
I'd buy purple.
Purple?
I'd buy purple or orange, but my preference is probably white, actually.
I like
White
the
with
ones.
what interior?
Like red or peanut butter. Or a mixture of red and peanut butter.
I like that.
Like, I'd get a custom interior, actually,
Hmm.
now that I think about it.
See, I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. Like, I like all the colors. In fact, even on the new M4, that like highlighter type color. I wouldn't even call it highlighter because it's a little bit different than the Camaros.
The
and
like
stuff.
lime green or whatever.
Yeah, like, but I don't know if I could ever own a car that were those colors. You know what I mean? Like, I really
see.
like those colors. I just don't know. Like, I'm just the type of person. I don't know. Maybe I'm just more reserved or something. But I just like I want all matte black. Like, I just want to be
You just want blacked out,
Yeah, like,
basically.
that thing would be like murdered out black. Yeah, and
like
it would
that.
just be that's. I wouldn't need twin turbos. I know it's slower than a lot of cars nowadays that are coming out because cars are just
But
getting so
it's a
stupid
Lamborghini.
fast.
It's a Lambo,
Dude, it sounds so
And it
good
sounds-
too.
It's the best
If you have-
V12.
if you
It's
have-
the best V12 sounding engine out there.
Absolutely.
If you have the right exhaust on that, there was one leaving cars in Coverica one day, and it just like he just stayed in the gear in the high RPMs. He didn't get on it. It just sounded so
It just-
nice.
we
Yeah, it's like a
had-
symphony.
What was it? 2 weekends ago, we had the Pista Rally team from Houston show up, come
Oh,
out
yeah.
here in Dallas, and one of the drivers, apparently a big time YouTuber down in Houston, shows up with a Murcielago.
Oh,
A
really?
yellow Mercy. with
Yellow
no
Mercy.
top. He didn't bring the top at all with him. The
Yeah,
top was
yeah.
gone.
And it was just amazing. We were all amazed. Like halfway through the cruise that we were doing, he comes back and says, "I need gas."
Oh yeah.
And literally, he was on empty.
4 to the gallon.
Yeah,
4 to the
they
gallon.
had to push him to the gas station.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
like rolling down, and finally got him gas. And we're like, Jesus Christ,
That's
like,
ridiculous. I mean, that's awesome in a sense too. But I know, and especially with all like, I don't know, the way gas things are going and electric vehicles and stuff.
we
it's
had that
just like-
conversation about electric vehicles.
Oh, yeah?
We talked about it with Eric the other
We did
day.
talk about that with
Yeah,
Eric.
just like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't do it. It's not worth it. But
But you
Yeah.
can sound like whatever you want.
yeah, put a sound system,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't
Put a-
know.
I mean,
Banging
technically,
sounds.
BMWs already pipe in artificial sound into the cabin, even in ours.
But
You know what I like about it?
pipes it,
I mean, I can't really tell a freaking
it,
difference.
it
like,
pipes it in by increasing the actual sound put through. It doesn't actually give it through speakers.
oh, really?
Yeah, it just uses cavities to make the sound that's in the engine bay kind of come into the cabin. So it's yes artificial, but it's not
Okay.
faking.
Well,
sound.
see, I didn't know about it as much about it as
I
you
looked
did,
into
so-
that because I was upset about
Well,
that.
are you guys just as isolated as mine? in terms of
Yes and
sound?
no. We're isolated, but we're not because BMW intentionally designed it so that there is sound from the engine that
Interesting.
bounces into the cabin.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's. I love it and hate it because I can hear my engine, but it's annoying.
Yeah.
So,
Do
especially,
you drone? Do you drone? You don't drone in yours.
Oh, mine drones.
Well, I guess I'm used.
My
to it
resonator's
then.
gone.
Well, I guess I'm used to it. on
Like-
mine. You don't drone, do you?
I don't feel like it really drones
Basically,
very
His
much
doesn't
at all.
drone.
Like,
No.
no. The AWE track exhaust air does drone, but only at like 2,000 RPM or something. I don't know.
Mine
Something dumb.
drones
Like, I'll never even
more
be there.
below 2 and above 4.
I found out that we can actually install vibrant resonators for our cars, for our exhaust system, to where
They
it
fit?
gets it gets rid of the rasp, it gets rid of the drone. It makes your car sound deeper too.
Why didn't we talk about this sooner?
What, you
Well, I
said
just found it
vibrant?
last week. It's
I wanna
it's a
hear about it.
vibrant resistor. It's literally on Amazon. It's like $50. I'm
ordering
gonna
it
get
right
it for
now.
my car, and literally I'm gonna install it between the X pipe and my straight pipe,
Yeah.
so that way it's not as raspy or as annoying anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Because yours now, since you did your exhaust, is it really drony or what?
yes and no. It's drony if I'm like around 3,000 RPM, but anything after that, like it's fine.
Yeah.
Basically, like we drove to Houston and back, and
You're
I
going to
was
hear
fine
his
with
engine
it.
no matter what anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you've heard of how it sounds now compared to what it was before. So
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
know,
just-
dude, I kept telling you, I'm like, you're like, I just want it louder, and I'm like, bro, you want it louder? Just take the cats off.
I can't
the
believe
muffler.
we had
Like,
that argument for the longest time. I think it was like 6 or 7
like, it
months.
just
until I
depends on
finally-
what sounds best, right? Like a lot
Yeah.
of people are doing like those equal length mid pipes on the
That's what I
M4s
wanna
and
do.
Right.
Yeah.
doing like a bunch of stuff. I mean, like to me, I don't drive the car enough. Like I don't drive it daily, so I don't care how droney or how loud it is or how stupid obnoxious it is. Like that's the
Yeah.
whole point. It's like I go out in that car because I want to go out and have fun, and
Be
it's a nice looking
obnoxious.
car, and I want people to look at my car. Like I don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
everybody
blame
wants
you.
everybody to look at that
I don't
car.
blame you. And the fact that every time I'm driving through Uptown or anywhere, I break somebody's neck just gives me the glorious satisfaction.
Yeah,
You know?
We scare the crap out of them because we roll up and then pop on the way out.
Yeah, that pop. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you
fun.
guys pop. Mine is just like, dude, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably gonna sue me. Every time I start my car in the garage, every time when I start it, at least 2 car alarms go
Douchebag.
off.
Your is
Yeah,
loud.
you remember about that, right?
Yeah.
The note that I
Is
got
there-
on my car.
Yeah. Is there a way to turn off your cold start? Because you only need the cold start to warm up your cats. That's the only
For us,
point.
yes. For him, no.
Oh, really?
Well, I have to tune it, and I'm just going
I don't
back
think
and
it's safe.
forth. No, well, because I have performance headers, I don't have cats,
Yeah.
so they can
Yeah.
create. But then again, I think about it, I was like, nah.
I mean, it sounds super good, right? Like it's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
It's just like I don't know. With mine, it's I had to sit in my car till it warmed up anyway, and it was just so loud in my garage. It's like, "Wah!" And I'm like, sorry if I like blew people's ears out, but
Yeah,
it seriously was just so stupid loud that I was just like, there's no point in having this. And who is sitting here at 7:00 in the morning when I'm going to go to a car show that's hearing my cold start? My neighbors who fucking hate it, and me.
right, exactly.
So-
No, and that was the thing. That's why I got to park on the 4th floor now with all the open area, because if I'm in the garage down, I start up that vibe. It just echoes.
Echoes.
And I'm just like, man, I'm gonna either go to jail or somebody's gonna scratch my car. Somebody's gonna do something really stupid. to
And
my
your
car.
dad gets onto you, right? Because you wake him up in the morning.
No,
down the street.
My dad does not get on that.
I can hear you.
Yeah, but ultimately though, it sounds. I like the way it sounds now. It's just I think once I get those resonators, I think I'd be a little bit happier, and
Yeah.
it'll sound deeper as well. But nobody has heard it yet at the car shows. I have not been to a car show with it yet.
Yeah, I was surprised that I didn't see you guys at the car show.
Yeah,
So,
well,
but-
I was at the
Yeah.
I was at the junkyard all the way today because I got a surprise coming up for everybody.
And I'm trying to take a break.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
trying to take a break, and plus I was also working on the M3 as well, trying to get that ready, and then school. So it's
Yeah.
just a lot of things coming up. But hopefully this month at one of the car shows, I might be at Cars and Coffee South Lake this month. I'll be at Cars and Cocktails this month as well. So we'll see which car I'll show up with. I might show up with both. I might show up with the M5. We'll see. I'm trying to have the M5 ready by the end of this month with
Thank you.
with the major surprise that I have. So.
Nice.
You guys need to tune in and figure out what it is. Some people know, a lot of people don't, but I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, but yeah, today kind of sucked, and then Monday I have to do the rest of whatever I was doing today. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. But,
Chopping cars up.
yeah,
job.
basically. But the M3 is for sale if anybody wants to buy the M3. I'm
Because if
almost
you
done
don't,
with
someone
it.
will.
Yeah, somebody
Remember
will
that.
buy it. Apparently when I was looking up on Auto Tempest to figure out like what is the real pricing of these cars. Apparently there was a guy up in Kansas City or something like that. His was a 99, had the exact same setup as mine with a hard top, but his was a manual. And then underneath there it said it's 1 out of 32. And then another guy said I'm 1 out of 27. So I'm just like sitting there trying to figure out,
Maybe
which
it
one
is.
am I in?
Yeah.
Am I 1 out of 50, 1 out of 60? Like which one is that? So
One of one.
there's basically
I'm gonna wear that out.
there's basically I think it's rare. Nobody has seen it in green. Nobody has seen it with the Modena interior, so it's a really hard color combo to find.
Combo.
But whatever. We'll see.
I'm
Whatever.
sorry. I'm obnoxious
So
today.
I mean, I'm excited for it to see where it's going to go. It's got a great story behind it. Me and Eric Tacos, when we saw the car and we saw who was selling it to us and what his background was, we're like, okay, I think we know exactly what we signed up for. So it's been a good month and a half of having the car. You've driven it.
Oh my god, it's
We've
so much
all been
fun.
in it. Yeah,
With-
I find it so much more fun than my M5 for some odd reason because it's small. everything works, you know, and you can turn that car at 100 miles an hour. It's like, God, this is
It's
actually
because you can
fun.
like actually kind of like push it, but it's not like you're doing like 150 on the freeway. Like you can do it like on just regular surface street or
Yeah,
just like
I
regular, you
tried
can
to
just go have some
I tried to
fun.
fishtail it. It took me forever to fishtail
You
the
spent
car.
an hour and a half one night trying to fishtail it at every freaking
It was
possible
me.
intersection.
It was me, him, and Zeke in the car, and I'm just like, man,
They
like,
should have made it easier with all the extra weight.
yeah, but it turns, like the car turns as soon as you accelerate. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, that's pretty
I'd argue it
impressive.
turns better than ours.
Yes,
Like,
even better than my M5.
oh, it's
It
beautiful.
is really
but
impressive.
it's not drive by wire, so that's probably the main thing there. Is it just
I don't know.
it's
Whatever they
butter
did,
smooth? BMW knew how to make
whatever they did, it was
steering.
fun.
Yeah.
Whatever they did, it was fun.
It's beautiful.
We'll see.
Stop it. Don't look at me like that. I'm not buying it. I want to, but I'm not buying it.
Tell me about this Koenigsegg that
Yeah,
apparently
which
you want.
Koenigsegg?
Not necessarily that you want it for 10
So-
years from now, but like if you had the opportunity, you would like to buy it 10 years from now.
Well, the funny thing is that like I was into video games before I was ever into cars,
Right.
right? So I was like playing a
isn't?
car video game, and I was playing a car video game, and my brother was like, he was really young at the time. He's like, I want that one because I was like, which car should I pick?
Uh-huh.
And it was like, all I could think was it looked kind of like an egg, and it was the old Koenigsegg, I think just the CCX.
Okay.
And so that's like the first one that kind of I just remember that's like my first interaction, like seeing a Koenigsegg or anything. And then after that, it was more like in high school whenever they came out with the what was it, the CCXR and the Ajero was probably like right kind of like what 2008 2010 or something
Mhm.
like that. Whenever they're coming out with those, it's just I don't know, being from like a real technical background and stuff, that seeing those kind of cars, they're just like so technologically advanced. They're so awesome. I remember the old ones. The old ones were cool because they had the manual shifter in the middle, and then you had like all the buttons in a circle, and the startup sequence was like you had to push this one and then this one and then
Mhm.
these two.
Right.
So like you're like turn on the fuel pump and like doing different stuff. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
race car-ish too, but then it's
Mhm.
like this hyper car that's like
Basically.
doing 250
It's
miles
street
an hour.
legal.
The street
Basically.
legal,
For some
yeah.
reason.
Just stupid awesome. So like that's why Koenigsegg, like top of the game in terms of like everything that I'd ever want. I mean, I see Bugattis and they're cool. I mean, I can appreciate them. I totally get it. But
Right.
and Pagani's too. Pagani's sound awesome, but it's
Just something
definitely,
about a Koenigsegg
like
just
yeah,
Sit somewhere else in your heart.
that's the
I get
epitome.
it.
Yeah.
Shit.
And
Feel that.
I don't know. They're just, and I remember knowing about Koenigsegg's before a lot of people, like, you know, and where I grew up, not too many people were as into cars as out here,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
like nobody knew what a Koenigsegg was. They're like, what? Like, they had no idea. Now a lot of people do, like, but back, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, like nobody really knew what a Koenigsegg was. So you'd say it and they're like, what the hell? Like, just a
Basically.
Swedish supercar. I don't know.
Basically.
One of one.
Yeah,
Yes,
one of
green
one.
blue.
One of one. Yeah.
I'm gonna wear that out, bro.
Stop. That shit's getting annoying.
It's entertaining me.
Oh my god. Oh man.
What's funny is I had made my whole description on my Instagram
Yeah.
at whatever point I made it, and
It's terrible.
and somebody straight up had like messaged me, and then I don't know how I had like got back to their profile, but I saw their profile and they literally like copied and pasted.
I
mine.
remember that. I
Like,
saw
it was
that.
for like a Honda Civic though, bro. Right? It's like one of one, like Honda Civic, like only trash can exhaust. Like I don't know.
Sheepy racing exhaust
Yeah.
on my Honda Civic.
Yeah.
One of
I mean, it was
my
flattering. It was
gosh.
cool, but like, yeah, it was.
Yes,
funny.
Marine
I
Silver.
don't know. Well, I'm sorry.
Factory, by the way. We ordered it that way.
You know, I mean, I may try to keep the exhaust and just eventually do something with it whenever I.
That'd be cool.
Whenever I have the time and money to actually like be able to fix it up and do kind of make it maybe more sturdy, or whatever it is. I've also thought about doing like an art type project thing with it and having
think-
the whole exhaust put together in like a big deep like frame almost,
Mhm.
so that you can have it like in a garage. And I
Interesting.
think that'd be, I don't know, it's kind of like a modern art piece in a
Basically.
sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty
I
cool.
think it'd be pretty cool.
But-
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, if you were wanting to go to a car show out of all the car shows in the world, so you got SEMA, you got Geneva over in Switzerland, you got Monaco, you got the Detroit Auto Show,
Yeah.
Cars at Coffee South Lake, or the Dallas Auto Show. For like, which one would you want to go?
I don't know.
Don't worry about like the financial situation is not even key.
No, probably something like either SEMA where there's just a bunch of cool builds, or something that I could take my own car to, like Beamer Fest in Cali.
Yeah, Beamer Fest in Cali. I think last year we were talking about Beamer Fest, and then they had to shut it down because of COVID. So I'm curious on what's going to happen this year or next year. But that would be a fun event to go to.
We're shipping our cars out.
Yeah, we got to go.
It'd
Mustafa can ship our cars out. So I would be down
tomorrow morning. I'd be so down.
I don't know if is Beamer Fest going on this year?
I don't know if Beamer Fest is going on this year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Probably
next year is.
Yeah.
Save up.
Next year it is.
We're shipping them out.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm so down. And I have a buddy in Cali who has an M2, like knows people out there in the Cali scene too. So
nice.
We can get people together.
I think there's a lot more BMW Cali guys.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, this guy actually was from Hawaii. I drove his M2 whenever I was in Hawaii, and then he moved back to Cali. And
he shipped his M2 back?
Yeah.
Shut
he's
up.
in the military.
Bro,
So he just ships it around with him?
Yeah.
That is so badass.
Yeah. Dude, he was such a cool dude. Whenever I was out in Hawaii, like I returned the car to him. It's through Churro, so I returned them to him, and he was super cool about it too. Even one time he called me. I pulled up next to like an RS5, and the guys were like, "Oh, they like gave me a thumbs up." And then I drove away, and I was like, "Man, I kind of want to race them, kind of not, but it's not my car." And my cousin's wife was in the car. I was giving her a ride in it, and he calls me, and he's like, "Hey, were you just next to an Audi?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And he was like, "Dude, you should have raced him. Those were my buddies. They wanted to race." And they were like, they called me. They're like, "Who's in your car?" But whenever I took it back, it was cool too because he had an M3 manual, like a black manual M3 F80, and he was like, "Hey, my buddy said that I could drive this, but I have my car, so I've been driving it, and it hasn't been driven in the past month, and it needs to be driven. You want to go take it out for a drive?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" So it was raining. It was raining in Hawaii,
a heartbeat.
Yeah, so I'm like, heck yeah. So I got to drive 2 M's whenever I was out there. That was pretty cool.
That must be.
But he's a cool dude. So if we go out to Cali for Beamer Fest or something like that,
we're sitting down, we're having some lunch.
Yeah, heck yeah.
That should be. Yeah, Beamer Fest. I think that'd be like an opportunity of a lifetime for to go.
Well, Texas 2K was always something that I wanted to go to, right? And now I've had the opportunity to go.
When was the last time you went to Texas 2K?
This past.
That's why he did. That's why he stood me up the other night. Don't even at me right now. Still mad about that. It was gonna be date night.
No, Texas 2K was a lot of fun. It was my first time going ever.
Dude, it's so fun out. It's awesome, and it's awesome too because like being in the car scene, you're not just like a spectator. You actually know like people there, like some of the teams and stuff, like Joe Tech or whoever. And so it's like it just makes it like that much more fun.
I think the fact that you get to see what your car could be capable of is what's
not me because my car's slow as fuck compared to
they did have an F80 M3 that was trying to
but that was like 1,000 horsepower F80 M3
and there's only one,
and he was still getting
destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun cars. They're great platforms. Like, it's definitely like a car like you want to have some fun in. You could just go drift. You could go do whatever in it.
Right.
You could go have fun and go do rolls, and you could go take a chick on a date and be comfortable and look like really good in an M4 or M5 or whatever M car you have.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just one thing that I like about M's. It's like they kind of are well rounded.
I kind of want to see what it's gonna do for Twisted Sisters in June. So we got the rally for Twisted Sisters set up for June, and then the Austin rally that we did last year, I actually got to set it up in September. So we're going to stay at the same cabin, hopefully this time. Yeah. Really? And instead of 35 cars, I think I'm going to go with 20 to 25 cars this time around because 35 cars is just way too much.
Yeah, to track all the way down.
Oh, yeah. 35 cars for the for San Antonio is better, in my opinion, just because I think everybody's going to be more, aware of the situation of how twisted those roads are. But I found a twisty road here in Dallas, and it's were you on it? You haven't been on it yet.
I was in the passenger seat.
Just fucking
don't even. Fuck it.
And it was a lot of fun. And if it's going to be in one of my cruises soon, so but it's it's probably one of the best twistiest roads here in Dallas that I've ever taken.
I wish that we were closer to like northern New Mexico or Colorado.
Oh, those would be fun. Are you kidding me?
I just hate the miles on my car, right? Like that's like the big thing.
Basically. And I'm dailying mine, so
So you really
I put
But-
17,000.
But you have a lot less than me, so you're still good. You're good.
17,000 in like 8 months is a lot.
But
That
here's
is-
the thing.
I mean, that is a lot, but I mean, you're
I-
enjoying your car too, though.
You know, I think that's the thing too. Like, if you bought that car for a reason, you bought it to drive it.
Well, I didn't
basically.
Buy it to put 100,000 miles in 5 years.
Who
so.
gives a shit? Like, what's the point?
The price is
The
going
guy
up
who
on
wants
them.
to keep it for the
Yeah,
rest of
the
his
price-
life? Yeah, I've noticed.
Dude, like
I could sell it and make money.
the other day, just looking at the prices, they already went up like almost 5K or something stupid. I was like, man, the car with like 38,000 miles selling for like, I don't know, it was like 50 or something or
Yeah.
55 with 38,000 miles on an M4.
And mine's at
I'm like-
27K, so I can
Yeah.
make like $5,000 on it
Dude,
right
ones
now.
at 27K are selling for almost like 60
Jesus.
right now. And I bought mine with 24 for 47.
Jesus.
So just to show you how like the price difference, right? And that was 2 years ago. So in 2 years, not only are they 2 years older, but the price has gone up
They're
like
appreciating.
$13,000.
I think it's because people are realizing how easy it is to maintain them
I don't think it's
and push
maintainability.
them.
I don't think it's maintainability. I think it's the fact that the new M3s and M4s that came out look like dog shit.
That's fair.
And the fact that they're longer and wider. It's almost like the same size of an M5.
But people are saying
Right.
that they might like somebody already did it like a simple tune and they already got like 600 wheel horsepower out of one.
Oh yeah, the new ones are ridiculous.
like that's what they're saying is that the new ones are just going to be like beasts in terms of how much you can tune the car and make easy power out of them, like big power. So
We'll see when
that's one of
we'll
the.
see when the issues start showing up
See,
on the newer ones.
I think if I got one of the newer ones, I don't know. It's the only reason it's hard to get a manual in the newer ones is that you can't get like the comp package in it
Right.
in the manual.
Which
You-
is
like
dumb.
yeah, they changed a bunch of stuff, which makes me kind of bugged because like I would love or like the all-wheel drive, the one that is going to be like the M5 system where it's
Mhm.
all-wheel and then goes to two-wheel.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be manual, but I kind of almost want those because I feel like those are going to be quick, dude. Like off the line, like I feel like those are going to be like beasts. Watch
yeah.
those M3s and M4s, like with
Mhm.
all-wheel drive, are going to start to be like drag cars or something, like RS3s
Yep.
and
Basically,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Obviously not like probably not like GTRs or anything. I'm thinking, but you never know.
Those
It could be a new type of GTR because they have the same types of. I mean, they're totally different builds.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not, like,
technically, the
trying to
F90,
get it all
There you
convoluted.
the F90 M5, you can obviously make it to 1,000 horsepower easily
Yeah,
if you wanted to, right?
yeah,
And that car will be a 10-second car or a 9-second car, you know?
yeah.
And the thing is that car is heavy, you know, for it to produce that much power and for it to be considered as a drag car, like it's just a heavy motherfucker.
Carbon
right?
fiber body. Problem
Yeah.
solved.
Well, if you,
but-
that's why you would get the M3 competition
Yeah,
package. or
But
the
GTRs
M4.
are comparable to them, like
to the F90 M5s
uh,
or comparable to the new M3
comparable
M4s.
to the new M3s and
Oh, yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree with that. Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking that.
However, though, I think the B58 engines of BMWs are going to be the new bread and butter in terms of drag
Yes, absolutely.
because you're going to get so much power out of the engine for an inline,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And you put pure turbos on it. You slap on a really good diff. I mean, that car can fucking go.
Yeah.
So like just like basically the Supras, right?
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
the M340i's right now, or the 440i's, they have the B58 engine on it. I think that's where everybody's going to be having their target on.
Yeah.
Versus the M3, M4 competition.
Well,
package.
especially for the price point of like a
For the-
440 or something. If you're
dude,
not happy with like the M3 and the way it looks,
dude,
I mean,
if you're getting 600 horse, 600 wheel on a B58,
That's enough.
for
that's enough.
for a
That's
way
enough.
better price point.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Like you just slap on a bigger turbo, right? Your internals are good, right?
Absolutely.
You don't have to worry about a
The
crank hub,
Blow
right?
is fine.
Yep.
Well,
Well, as far as we know,
as
As far as
I
we
mean,
know.
I was like,
As far as we know,
it's either
yeah.
that or the rod bearings.
I
One of the
just
two
feel-
BMWs choose.
I
screwed
just
up on.
feel like the B58 is where it's at. I think,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
but it's like you said, the price point is different,
Yeah.
obviously, and,
Mhm.
and there's going to be that big argument about it too. Like, well, I'd rather have the S55 because I can build it and make 1,000 horsepower. Can you do it with the B58, or can you? The arguments are not going to start until it actually happens.
Yeah.
But I would be really curious on how the B58 platform would turn out.
Yeah.
You know, I think it would be a really good challenge for BMW,
Yeah.
especially that engine. because that's the new N54 platform.
Yeah.
It's the new engine that everybody can basically work on. It's basically the new LS at this point, right? But then again, with your guys' car, with that crank hub upgrade and pure turbos, like it's just a different animal for its own. You know, I'm not sure what Ricky has done with this 1,000 horsepower. Like, I don't even know what his numbers are. I don't know if he's dragged it. I don't know if he's got any type of numbers on it. But do you know anything?
The problem is that a lot of the 1,000 horsepower guys, from what I've seen, I don't know any of them like really personally, but I've seen them maybe at like a cool BMW car show, but I don't see them taking the cars out.
I don't think they drive it much for a reason.
I think they just dyno it and come back
That's
and
what
say,
I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
I think they
But I don't
dyno it.
know.
They dyno it and they're like, okay, I got 1,000 horsepower.
And then they down tune it because they don't want it to blow up. That's what I think.
Maybe.
Because our blocks are aluminum.
But I think,
Our blocks are aluminum. I found that out.
but I think I'm going to go with him or with basically what he was saying. I really want to see what Amir is capable of. I really want to see if he dynos it and if he drags it, what's going to happen.
So I wouldn't ever. I don't know. I mean, his is in a manual. I would never drag mine again. Just off of the diff is just not set up to
Basically.
1,000.
But that's the
horsepower.
older diff, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's the older diff, but the newer axles. I mean, so 2015 had solid axles. 2016's had hollow axles, so it's the hollow axles. But it's 2016, so it's the older diff.
Yes.
With the newer axles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And then I've got the new diff and the new axles.
Yeah, and I don't really know the difference.
Disregard that. Sorry about
think,
that.
as I understand it, mine's carbon fiber or something, right? Or is that just the drive shaft?
So the drive shafts, I heard that they changed from carbon. I heard through some of the 2017s they had carbon fiber drive shafts, and then they don't have carbon fiber anymore. That they have regular drive shafts. I have a carbon fiber drive shaft on mine. Austin sent me a picture of it one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole drive shaft's carbon fiber. It's because some of them had failures. They didn't have a lot of failures, but some did, and it's an expensive failure to
because
have.
the whole drive shaft.
Yeah, and carbon fiber drive shafts aren't cheap. So
yeah,
I think they just were like, you know what, we'll just stick with the regular drive shafts. It's fine.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal.
I don't see a problem with that.
But it's pretty cool to say, hey, well, my drive shaft's carbon fiber, so
Till it snaps.
yeah, till it snaps. Hopefully not. I mean, in terms of an engineering aspect of it, it shouldn't.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Like, there's even a video on YouTube of a dude doing a test with a regular one, and I think it might be Richard Hammond is in the video.
Okay.
And they have a regular one and then a carbon fiber one. The regular one fails at like 6,000 pounds per foot, and the carbon fiber one fails at like 23,000 or something. It's like
Jesus, ridiculous,
huge difference.
Yeah.
Compared to a regular steel drive shaft.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I want
But if you have,
I want a carbon fiber drive shaft with the
but if the
M5
weave
right now.
isn't perfect, right? That's like then you
Because
that's
carbon
restricting
fiber only
issues.
is strong in certain points.
Yeah.
Under certain conditions. If you
Yep.
come at it at the wrong angle, at a different angle, steel's fine, and the carbon fiber is not anymore. So yeah, that's the problem there.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot more to argue about down the road.
Apparently. We just have to come back.
Basically, yeah, we should probably do another episode, yeah. If Keith is interested in coming back.
down.
So, yeah,
I'm down.
we
Alright.
always enjoy having people come back. I mean, obviously, because we're BMW guys, so.
Yeah.
We should get some people who aren't even car people in here sometimes. That would be fun.
I think one of them is.
They'd
so
have
we'll
such a
see.
horrible time. They'd end up walking out. They'd be like, you know what? I thought this would be fun, but all we are talking about is cars. And this is not fun.
I mean, maybe, but sometimes it's interesting because some of those people are just like they're excited that we're excited, and sometimes they just catch on to that. you
Well,
know?
we're really excited. Well, speaking of.
Oh yeah, you're excited.
Wow, so we're
he's
going to go to
excited.
New York this week. We're actually going to be meeting with a big time car enthusiast celebrity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
One of
so-
one.
he's basically he's truly one of one because it's only one of them, right? And he's all the way up in.
He's a twin though.
He does not have
He has a
a
twin. Oh, God.
He's so you guys stay tuned for this upcoming weekend.
Tune in next week.
Tune in
boys
next
and
week.
girls.
So we're going to be in New York for about 3 days. There's going to be 3 people that we're going to be interviewing. One of them is a big time celebrity car enthusiast. So it's a really good opportunity for us. So we're pretty excited about that. So other than that, we got we got some really good shows coming up here soon. We just haven't been really talking about it that much, but me and Cameron are really excited about it, and we're creating this. We're fixing to create a team, hopefully, and traveling around and meeting other celebrity car enthusiasts. But we can't name them all yet. So, but one by one, we're working our way up. So, other than that, do you have any questions for us?
No.
Well, it was great.
I feel like that question was kind of like a job question. You'd be like, all right.
The interview is done. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't know.
Maybe you should word it different.
Nah, we're good. What? It doesn't hurt to ask. Like, maybe they do have questions to ask.
Is there anything that you would like to know about Naveed and I before you go today?
Password your Wi-Fi.
It's on a tree. Anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks a lot for having us. Once again, my name is Naveed. This is Cameron. This is Pete. Thanks a lot, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys at the next show.